Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Like I said, happy Indigenous Peoples Day. If you're one of the people if you're Italian, if you believe it's Columbus Day and you're a Columbus supporter, hey, I don't mind. If you want to share your opinions, I kind of look forward to that. If that's the reason for this video, actually. One of the reasons, and I want you to share your comments down below if you have a problem. Back in 2021, President Biden, one of the best things, in my opinion, that he's done so far is he declared this Indigenous Peoples Day. Here's an interesting thing too. If you look this up, today is Indigenous Peoples Day. There's National Indigenous People or National Aboriginal Peoples Day, which is celebrated in Canada, or there it's not. They're not known as Native Americans. They're known as the First Nations, which I think is so much more cooler. I'd rather be called part of the First Nations than Native American. I like that sound of that, First Nations, because it's more apt. I'm going to talk a little bit about this. I think there's about 13. I'm not sure which states have officially recognized Indigenous Peoples Day. Oh, by the way, in Canada, like I said, it's January 21st is National Indigenous or National Aboriginal Peoples Day that celebrates First Nations people. Here it's October the second Monday of October, or what used to be Columbus Day. I can't remember exactly how many states. Connecticut is not, unfortunately. I'm surprised because it's a pretty liberal Democrat state, and this is not one of the states that officially recognize Indigenous Peoples Day. We have two tribes, Native American tribes here in Connecticut, the Mashantucket Pequots, that are the founders of Foxwoods. Was the biggest casino in the world. I don't know if it still is. And then the Mashantucket, the Mohican Sun with the Mohican tribe of Connecticut. Those are our two officially recognized tribes here in Connecticut, Mohican and Mashantucket Pequot. I am not either one of those. I actually got some pictures here. I've talked about this before. I'm French Canadian and Native American, and some of my family back in the 50s and 60s, like my mother and some of her family, they moved to Connecticut, and apparently back then it wasn't cool. Being Native American, even being French Canadian. My mother told me about how it was hard. It was hard going to school here because she still had a French Canadian. She spoke French before she spoke English. And she had a real hard time going to school here. Here's a picture of my mom, by the way. She would kill me if she ever knew I showed this. That's my mom, yeah, and my mom there. Back when she was probably in her 20s or 30s. Here's a picture of me and my grandfather. As you can see the Native American there, that's my grandfather. That's me. He had a full head of dark hair when he passed away in his 70s. A full head, and he didn't use any hair color or anything like that. Full head of dark hair. Okay, like I said, I'm French Canadian and Native American. I actually have a little German in me too. That's a little more foggy where that came from. The Acadian people of Maine are French Canadian and Native American. Actually, if you look into this, if you Google this, I think that it's associated with the Creole people in Louisiana, in New Orleans. Some of the Acadian people were moved to Louisiana back in the 1700s, and that's why they speak French Canadian they speak French down in Louisiana. You could look this up. I wasn't prepared to talk about any of that this morning. So yeah, I'm not. That's one of the first questions I get here in Connecticut. You know, are you part of the casino? Are you rich? You know, and no, I'm not rich. I think my father's side is Iroquois, and my mother's side is Micmac, Acadian from Maine, and those are the tribes that I'm connected with. Okay, another thing I want to talk about today. If you've heard this before, I'm going for my third booster shot today. I'm pretty sure I just walk in, I can go in and get a vaccination today. And I'm going to get my third booster today for the COVID shot. And I get so angry when I see stuff about the vaccine and some of this nonsense online. So let me just, if you've heard this before, I apologize, but I'm going to say it one more time. This is the girl I was dating. This is my first sweetheart right here, Audrey. 3rd grade, we started dating. We found each other again later when we were in our 40s, late 40s, early 50s. We started dating again. We moved in together. We were going to get married. We had our ins and outs. We moved in together. We were going to get an apartment together. She wanted to move to Florida. Okay, but she was a Trump supporter. And the last time I talked to her, we talked about the vaccine. This was in the summer of 2021. And she was leaving for Florida the next day. She's all packed up. I gave her a big hug. I said I'd go down and see her, and I'd move down there in a couple months. And I texted her all the way down. And within a day or two of getting there, she would not get the vaccine. She was a Trump supporter, MAGA, Make America Great Again, all that stuff. And I was the complete opposite, liberal, Democrat. And I got the vaccine. I got my first 2 shots. And this will be my 3rd booster today, 3rd. So I've gotten every single one. Here's how that turned out. Audrey got COVID as soon as she got to Florida. She went into intensive care, and on August 5th, just a month after getting to Florida, she passed away in Jacksonville Hospital from COVID. She never got a vaccine. Even though it was available, she didn't want to wear a mask. She didn't want to get vaccine, and she died a horrible death alone in a Jacksonville hospital. Here's her. So when you talk about the COVID vaccine, and I hear some of this rhetoric, it doesn't sit too well with me, as you could easily imagine, because here's my proof. My girlfriend, the first love of my life, didn't get the vaccine, and she's dead now from COVID. Me, I've gotten every vaccination, and I'm healthy and still alive. I'm going to be 58 in a couple months, and I am probably as healthy as any 20-year-old. Anyway, that's the video for today. I just wanted to say Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. I'm going to go get my vaccine this morning, and I will be back later with another video. You guys have a good Monday. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day.